that we have to deal with that for the most part just simply won't get with the program, to be honest with you.
Good deal. Any more questions? Puts us down to GSA, contract pricing, copy machine for City Hall.
This copy machine is it's about to the expiration of the contract, and we will save about $50 a quarter on the maintenance. And of course, I don't know if you all know this, but I think we brought it back to y'all a few months ago. Any of the copiers we have now, whether they're color, black, no matter what, all the toner's included. We don't have to pay for a color toner anymore. So that is all included in the service contracts with these. But this is just gonna be one for City Hall. It's an upgraded copier. Any questions?
Number
Three.
three. That's
This is a very particular sticky situation. We went a few months ago with a company called JRS. We
You
bid
talking about the fuel cards?
We bid the fuel cards, and it has been a mess ever since we've changed over. Billing has been horrible. I've had numerous calls where they couldn't use the card or their PIN number didn't work. And we had never totally deactivated the WEX account. So we're asking to go off the NJPA contract and go back and be able to use the WEX NJPA cards where we will see our discounts and things. We are not even seeing our discounts on the James Rivers or that contract. So with the disaster it has been, I'm begging you all to approve this because it has been a disaster.
I have a question. There's no, you said contract, and of course we have to have the contract. There's not going to be a penalty. Have we given them sufficient notice so there won't be a penalty?
I don't think there's going to be an issue.
Okay.
Because they're not even getting us billing correctly yet. We're still not even getting the bills correctly yet as we need them. So I don't think it's going to be an issue to revert back.
Okay, let's just
I will-
double check on it to
I
make sure.
will make
because
sure that
a lot
there
of
is
them
no
even-
issues, but yeah.
Even if they're obviously messing things up, if some contract, if you don't give them a letter or something, then,
We have been trying to work with them, but it's just not,
okay.
it's just not working. I think that's all I have on here.
We're down on number B, ratify the decision, the discussion of the city staff to cancel the contract with Buxton Company. Tom?
Sir. Mayor Alderman, I think you all know as of about less than a month ago, I came to you and asked you all to leave our third year of our contract with the Buxton Company. I want to point out at first, while there were some minor issues with Buxton, this is solely for internal needs and to basically save the city some money. They were charging us $50,000 a year, and we found a way to do it for roughly around $12,500 ballpark range with Sightseer, which these next three items will go together. Again, no disrespect to Buxton, but we believe that we want to thank Cheyenne, and we ended it, I think, appropriately with them, but I think anytime we can save some money or allocate money other ways to do it, I think it's just going to be more efficient. So I ask you to go ahead and ratify that with your vote on Tuesday.
Thank you, Tom. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Put down number C, approve the master agreement with Sightseer Technologies to provide professional service relating to the economic development data.
Again, following off what I just said about Buxton, many of you met with Sightseer when we went on our ICSC recon trip. Again, they're charging us $12,500. They gave us 2 weeks for using their platform, and we believe their data is just every bit as good as Buxton at a much cheaper rate. So I asked that we had $50,000 a year for other professional services, $12,500 of that. I asked to now shift that over to Sightseer. One thing, Alderman Cole and Alderman Brown, when you were out there, one of the things that you had asked was that we not enter into multi-year long-term contracts. Sightseer will not. If we're happy with them next year, they'll basically invoice us. If not, we move on. So I ask if you wouldn't mind considering that and partnering them for a year.
Again, number D, approve a professional service agreement with Nava Retail LLC to provide services relating to the economic development, recruitment, and representation. Tom, it's you again.
Yes, sir. Again, the $50,000 that we were paying Buxton, one of the things that Buxton did not offer to us was representation in active retail recruitment. While you have hired a position, and we are in there, and we're working daily on retail recruitment, we feel that we needed a component. I don't believe the city has funds to send us to every show possible. This company that I'm asking you to was something that we all spoke on. It was kind of a consensus between all the board members. Each of you met out there with Retail Coach and Navi Retail, and I think we got two good proposals from each. In the sense with Navi Retail, basically offering unlimited conference representation and retail recruitment. Again, no multi-year contract, and their cost per year will be about $21,000. So in total, we're talking saving the city roughly $15,000 to $17,000, and I think we'll be better represented going into the next fiscal year. So I ask that you consider this and approve partnering with Navi Retail.
Tom, were they able to work out the distance with the competition?
Yes, sir. Speaking with Bruce yesterday afterwards, they will not represent anyone within 25-mile radius of City Hall. So what that means is basically anywhere in Rutherford County, they would not, and why that's important so everyone knows is obviously we don't want a company that's representing one of our competing cities, whether it be Mount Juliet, Nolensville, Smyrna, Murfreesboro. But what we didn't want to do is inhibit their ability to make money in a growing market such as in a booming market like Middle Tennessee. So something like maybe a Goodlettsville or a Gallatin or maybe even a Clarksville, I don't feel that would be a direct competitor as far as going into meetings and so on. So I hope that's answered your question.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Tom. Good job.
Thank you, guys.
Puts down to A, approve a renewal maintenance agreement with Motorola Solutions for the city radio equipment.
That's our annual maintenance and service agreement with Motorola Solutions for our consoles, back-end equipment, software upgrades, et cetera, for those items. This doesn't have anything to do with what we're working on to switch from Metro to Tacking. That's a totally separate thing. This is only with Motorola to keep all of our stuff over here in the building operational and working.
Puts down to F, approve use agreement with Youth Incorporated for the inline hockey league. They've had that for a number of years, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had it for quite a while now, and it's standard. It's not changed much. They did want to make some changes. Bruce and I talked about it. I think in December, after their season's over, we're going to go back and look at putting them on a year-long agreement. It'll be easier for everybody involved with it, and it'll give them some opportunities to maybe make some more funds that they haven't been able to do in the past. So I can't say enough of good things about them. I mean, they went down there and renovated that whole inline hockey rink at the tune of around $20,000, you know, and that's to city property. So they redid the concession stand. They did a lot of construction. They're a really good organization, and it's well run. So we've never had any issues with them. They're great.
Yeah, they're a good partner for the city.
Yeah, they're a really good partner with the city. So, but yeah, I can't say enough good things about them. So, any other questions on that?
Puts us down to G, approve grant contract 2019-37 between the Greater Nashville Regional Council and the City of Laverne, provision for multi-purpose senior center activities.
And that's basically the same, the general one that we've been doing over the past few years. They give us grant money, and then we try to meet the criteria that GNRC puts out for senior programming in our building. You know, whether it be having speakers in, Humana comes in and speaks, and a lot of hospice care comes in and speaks, you know, for people who have loved ones and, you know, that need counseling and things like that. So it's a standard contract that we've been doing, so.
Thank you, AC. Great job. That puts down to new business, number 7. First reading, ordinance 2018-19, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 15M, Group C, Parcel 18, consisting of 2.21 acres located at 139 Glendale Drive, from a C2 Highway Service Commercial Zoning District to a R1 Low Density Residential Zoning District. Now, this received a unfavorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on May 29, 2018. Anybody speak on this?
Bo can speak up.
Bo?
Good evening, Mayor and Alderman. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
So they're, with this property, they're wanting to add an additional structure on the property from reading through everything?
Currently, they have C2 zoning, so that's the Commercial Highway Service District. They want to actually downzone, which is pretty unusual. They'd like to downzone to R1, single-family residential. And at this time, they've indicated in all of their application and supporting letters that they have always used it as residential, and they want to continue using it as residential. But it is a very odd case of downzoning.
And the surrounding property, is that commercial or?
The majority of the surrounding is C2, which is what they have today. It's just a parcel or two that is R1, but I'd say 70% of the surrounding is C2.
Glenn, if you'll go to page 148 in the packet, it shows the zoning. Scroll down. It's hard to see.
Is that it there?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? Yes,
Yes.
that's it.
So looking at this, the dark red around, it's all the commercial, and then those orange sections, I take it, are the residential?
Yes, that's correct. Orange is R1.
Okay.
In the Planning Commission, what was some of the reasons why they was unfavorable?
I think primarily because the applicant really didn't make a strong case that it needed to change from commercial to residential. And most of the time, you know, people and the city is looking for the highest and best use of the property, which would be the current zoning of C2 over R1.
Okay.
So,
Any further questions for Bo? Present number 8, first reading ordinance 2018-20, an ordinance to amend Title 20, Chapter 2, Section 20-208 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding park and rec user fee. AC, you back up.
Back up. Yeah, this is basically what we're trying to accomplish here is about a month ago, I guess Alderman Cole brought to my attention an incident that happened in Hendersonville, was it?
Donaldson.
Where a vendor who was a registered sex offender had set up and was soliciting children, you know, while on site at a city event. And so we got to looking at it, and we didn't really have anything, background checks in place for vendors. So April was very instrumental in helping me. We modified a transient vendor application that they already had on file and tried to get it so that now when you apply as a vendor, the fee for your background check will come out of the vendor fee, which is $75. And I think the background check costs $29 or $39. $29, yeah. And that way, it's not like we're charging them extra, but at least we'll be covered in that, and they'll be good on that background check for a year. After a year, they'll have to get another one done, but that'll still come out of the $75 vendor fee. So that's what that is. That is correct, right, Bruce?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, the background check will only be required once a year.
Right.
But every time that the vendor wants to sell on city property, park property, or whatever, they'll have to get an individual permit from the Parks Department, but they won't have to pay for the background check, the $75. That lasts for the whole year.
And we'll keep that on file, and we also modified the permit down as well to match
Good.
vendors in the park, so.
Good. I know several parents reached out to me on this, and they're concerned for their families.
It's a scary thing. I mean, we have a lot of events up there that, you know, something like that could take place, so it can't hurt to be safe. Any
Hey,
questions?
Steve, was this the same ordinance that, as far as the rental of the buildings for events?
I think this one just pretty much applies to the vendors, is it not?
Correct. The only change is what is in yellow down at the bottom of the
Right.
page. Everything else that's in this section was already existing from the last time we amended this section of code, where we did talk about the rental of the multipurpose building and adjusted the deposit and
No,
whatnot.
we did adjust the
So-
deposit on those.
Right.
And
What was that adjusted to?
we went up to a $200 deposit rather than a $100
Okay,
deposit.
okay, that's what, okay.
That's been pretty, I'm saying it's been successful. We haven't had anybody, you know,
I mean, that's still pretty low.
it is
When
pretty
you-
low by most
When you
of the
take
city
into
standards.
consideration, when you got your personnel going in cleaning up,
Right.
because they just wanted to default. It's just like calling a bond.
Yeah.
When they know it's gonna be cheaper.
Right,
So I-
and depending on the event, and, you know, sometimes it takes a couple of hours for a couple of guys to clean it up, you know? They can leave it in pretty bad shape.
Not at this point, but at some point, I would like to see that readdressed, so you
Okay.
can at least, if we could just put the verbiage in there where you can, if it's gonna be a toddler's birthday party, then it's 200. If it's gonna be a
Right.
500-member wedding, we can adjust the price accordingly. I
Okay.
think that's something that needs to be put in there because it's constantly going up.
Right,
I mean, as far as the cost of cleanup.
yeah.
So I think that's something that we, I guess we could bring that in our board
Yeah, we can talk about it in the
and talk
Parks
about it
Advisory.
then. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, AC. Number 9, Resolution 2018-13, a resolution to appropriate funds for a nonprofit organization. Who's the nonprofit organization?
Mayor, this is the resolution we do every year as part of the budget process to appropriate the city funds to the various nonprofit entities that are discussed during the budget process. There's a list there in the packet on the resolution, and this is just basically authorizing the city to pay these nonprofits what was budgeted.
Number 10, Resolution 2018-14, a resolution of the City of Laverne, Board of Mayor and Aldermen to declare property owned by the city to be surplus to the city needs and directing the disposal of the same. This is something pretty standard we do quite often. Any questions? Number 11, a resolution 2018-15, a resolution to adopt the Rutherford County Hazard Mitigation Plan. This is something we talked about. It's a county thing, ain't it, Bruce?
Yes, sir. As part of the grant process for the storm shelter slash senior center that we're looking to do, they realized that they could not approve the grant because we had not adopted the most recent hazard mitigation plan. We are required every 5 years to adopt this plan, and I believe the last time we had adopted it was 2011. So it is time for us to re-adopt this plan again. We do have the most recent version on our files now, but this just adopts the latest version, and hopefully we can get the grant after adopting this plan.
Was that the one Chris was working on?
No, yes.
Ours mimics it. We've generally not done this in the past. But I spoke with TK from EMA actually today about it. And all of these grants now, these federal grants that are coming through are requiring it to be done this way. And I guess it's just like their way of policing to make sure that federal, state, and local governments are making sure that our plans all coincide with one another.
Makes sense.
Number 12, Resolution 2018-16, a resolution to accept the Hollandale Estate subdivision, phases 67, 68, and 69. This received a favorable recommendation at the June 26, 2018 Planning Commission meeting. Any questions on the exceptions? Puts it down to number 13, that's appoint and remove board members. Bruce?
Yes, sir. This month, we only have one board that is on the agenda. This is the Economic Development Advisory Committee. The term for Danny Jones expires at the end of June. We have contacted him, and he would like to stay on this committee. We do not have any other applications at this time, so this will be on the agenda for Tuesday night.
This puts us down to Mayor and Alderman comment. Alderman Cole?
Just want to ask everyone in the community to pray for the victims and the families of the shooting that happened today in Maryland. I know they're still sorting out all the details of it, but remember those people and victims in your prayer.
Alderman Jones?
I'd like to ask everyone, with the 4th of July festivities coming upon us, talk to anyone that you know over by the park, any of the residents over there, and just to put the word out, if you see something, say something. Because we're getting kids now, they're actually putting fireworks on the platform, and they're shooting fireworks and stuff, and it sears what's normally is a beautiful exhibit. You know, just talk to them and tell them just don't hesitate to call the police if you see them up there hanging around or doing something you feel that they don't have any business doing. But we're trying to keep it, you know, trying to keep everything looking nice. And of course, that's a budget. I mean, that's a bill that goes back to the city when we have them the park and recs have to go ahead and clean it up after they fire those fireworks and things. So just ask everyone to help out by just reporting anything that you see. And I look forward to seeing everyone out on the 4th for the festivities. Out here we got the company that's been doing it for a while is going to be back, and I look forward to seeing everybody back and having a good time. And let's cross our fingers for dryness for that day. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming out Saturday here for the Historic Preservation Celebration. We endured rain, cloudiness, but we still had a good crowd and everybody had a good time. And I want to thank the Parks Department and the Maintenance Department. When I come in here Monday for the staff meeting, you couldn't even tell that we was here. They done an excellent job cleaning up. We had a lot of people through here, and I appreciate everybody's help on that deal. And then tomorrow, I was invited to be involved in the 50th anniversary of the J. Percy Priest Lake Reservoir and Dam ceremony. Tomorrow makes 50 years since Lyndon Johnson was there, and he, I guess, official opened the dam in June 29th, 1968. And I was I'm gonna be one to get up and speak. Percy Priest Lake means a lot to me because my family's property was taken by the lake, and I grew up there and watched them build everything. So it's going to be a special day for me. On top of that, tomorrow's my birthday. I'm 21 years old again, but I appreciate everybody doing everything. And on the budget, the certified rate was 75 cents. First reading, I voted no on it. I wasn't comfortable with it. But after going over the budget and knowing that when me and Phyllis worked the budget out, we put a lot of what I call fluff in there. And I knew if I could pass it at 71 cents, that would put us within $200,000 of balancing it. And I knew that me and Phyllis, we had more than $200,000 worth of fluff in there, so we wouldn't have to do no amendments or nothing. And it passed it at 75 cents. Over half the people in Laverne would have got a tax increase. And we had 71 cents. The only ones that I would think would have any property tax increase is the people who owns the rental houses and rents them out, because a lot of their appraisals went up 40%. Anybody that just went up 25% should have a reduction in the property tax. It'd be a few that was reappraised 40%, but very few will see a property tax increase, and the ones that will, most of them would be the people who bought the houses and rented them out. And I was proud that this board done the right thing and lowered it down to 71 cents. And that does not affect the fire and police, because we're still adding 9 firemen, 3 police officers, 1 detective. We're upgrading the radio for almost $1 million, 4 police vehicles, and promoting additional shift commanders on the fire department and equipment and training. So everything will be funded just like the budget was set for. So I'm proud of this board, proud of the department heads, proud of Phyllis and everybody. Worked hard in a difficult time, having to deal with the reappraisal. It's been a difficult year, but we finally made it through. And that being said, thanks everybody for coming, and I'll call this workshop over.